Denise, Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, Denise, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Denise Salcedo, and you are watching Speak Now Pro Wrestling here on F4W Online. It is March 1st, and we are here to talk about AEW Dynamite, the go-home show, into AEW Revolution, and there's quite a bit to get into here today. By the way, sorry that this stream started a little bit late. Normally, I'm pretty much on time, but it takes a while for me to transcribe some of the promos and things that are said, and so I end up falling a little bit behind sometimes on the show when I'm transcribing everything that they're saying in the promo. So sometimes it takes a second, but I am here. Also, just a heads up, guys, because I'm very concerned about this. So there is a really bad storm right now. I don't know how many of you guys are in the Los Angeles area, but believe it or not, we've been having terrible weather. There was snow today in some parts of Los Angeles, which is just batshit crazy insane. It does not happen here very often. And then on top of that, there's really bad winds. Power has been going out. It went out for me earlier today, and I'm very scared that it's going to go off during the show because it sounds terrible out there. So if that happens, don't worry, I will come back, or if it takes too long, I'll figure something out. But just a heads up, because we are having really bad weather right now. But let's get into the show, everyone. AEW Dynamite, I thought today was, look, ahead of the show, I wasn't really too crazy given that the card, aside from one match, nothing else really sounded too appealing to me. Really, the only thing that I was looking forward to on today's show was the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and it totally delivered. And that particular match, I think, yeah, like I said, completely delivered, but it's really kind of all the other things that I wasn't looking forward to, I didn't think were bad by any means. So I thought this was a decent show, and there was a lot of good stuff that I thought that they did to build into AEW Revolution. So given that I wasn't, so in love with everything on the card, I still thought it was a pretty decent show today. Not a great show, but a decent show for sure. But hey, guys, just a heads up, if you want to help support this podcast and getting your questions, your thoughts, your opinions, anything really, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat. If you do, I will make sure to read that here on the show. And on top of that, it just helps me, stay funded, to help support this podcast, etc. Grapple Geekery kicks us off with our first super chat of the day, and Grapple Geekery says, lots of fire promos tonight, loved it. Man, that's why I told you guys I was transcribing portions of that Bryan Danielson promo that he cut on MJF. I absolutely loved it. We'll talk more about that in just a second, but I thought overall there was a lot of really good promos today. There was some good stuff on the show. Welcome to Williams Santoro Jr., who just became a member here of the F4W Online channel. So shout out to William on that. We got a super chat here from my good friend Heidi Ho. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho, who says, I live in LA, Lower Alabama, and we've got bad storms here and now, so I feel your pain. All right, totally different Lower Alabama and Los Angeles, but hey, man, I feel you. If you're living any place right now with bad weather, I feel your guys' pain, okay? It's cold, it's windy, it's wet. I hate it. But thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in this generous super chat. Roberto Arsenal sends in a super chat saying, besides the Battle Royal, the show was good. We'll get into that Battle Royal, guys. I'm curious to see what you think. I'm sensing what Roberto already seems that he didn't like the Battle Royal. I'm sensing that I don't know what the rest of the chat's going to say on here, but I'll share my thoughts in just a second. All right, let's hop into the show. So let's kick things off with the opening match, which was Orange Cassidy defeating Big Bill for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. God dang, I hate that name, by the way, Big Bill. I feel silly saying it. Hey, Big Bill is coming down. He defeated Big Bill. It's a terrible name, but whatever. So I'm going to be real with you guys here. When I saw this match was announced, I thought, oh, that's like, okay, I guess it's not really for me. This is really not the kind of match that this is not the type of match that I personally get stoked for or excited about, right? With that being said, I want to shout out the San Francisco audience because I thought that they made a match that I didn't think was that great. They elevated it so much more with the way that they were reacting to it. Holy cow, they were so into this. I couldn't believe it because I was like, man, I'm not into this at all. Because, really, the beginning kind of started slow. They were doing the whole cat and mouse thing where, like, Orange Cassidy would be in the ring, and then Big Bill would go on the outside, then Orange Cassidy into the ring, and they would just go back and forth. And I never like when matches start like that. I don't care who it is. I hate that start of a match for any match. Period. I hate when we see people going in and out of the ring. It drives me nuts. But for some reason, this worked, and I think this worked mainly because it's Orange Cassidy, and I don't necessarily know that it would have worked for everybody else. But it worked in this match. The crowd reacted to it very nicely, where I was like, okay, clearly I'm in the wrong here. I'm in the minority because the crowd is eating this up. And we get a moment where we see Big Bill put Orange Cassidy through the table. And for the majority of this first portion of this match, it's all Big Bill. Big Bill is the one on offense. Big Bill is the dominant one. It's all about Big Bill. And so I was kind of like, damn, I was not into this. I'm sorry. I was not into the portions where Big Bill was the dominant one. I was a little bored. I did like when he was like ragdolling him. I was like, okay, cool. Let's press on with this match, right? For me, this thing turned around the second Orange Cassidy basically got things back over on his end. So Danhausen, he tries to put a curse on Stokely Hathaway. And instead, Big Bill comes in, blocks him. And so Stokely Hathaway is able to nail one on Danhausen. This whole distraction and everything on the outside basically leads to Orange Cassidy getting the better of Big Bill. He goes out there, hits him with the dive, and this is where the match completely turned around for me. The second Orange Cassidy, really just the end. The second Orange Cassidy hits him with an orange punch, and then they get back into the ring. He ends up hitting him like with literally all his spots. He hits him with the DDT. Then finally he gets him with 3 more orange punches until he finally brings down the big guy, and he finally gets the victory. And so Orange Cassidy wins. And so really, I just like the ending, but the crowd really did a whole lot to really make this match more entertaining. So kudos to the San Francisco crowd, honestly, because they did a really good job. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what people are saying. We got a super chat here. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho, who says, the Iron Man match is the only match I'm interested on this whole card on Sunday. I might just watch the post show. So this one's interesting, guys. I'm curious because I don't know what, and you guys can let me know in the chat how you guys are feeling about the build, not the build, but more specifically the matches on AEW Revolution. Now, I am going to be doing a prediction show tomorrow on my YouTube channel with Sean. That's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll give official predictions then. But I'm curious to see what your guys' opinion is on the matches, because really quickly, to Heidi Ho's point here, I'm going to pull up the card just 1 second. Okay. So I'm looking at this card, and there's a couple matches that I'm really interested in. So there's 8 matches that have been announced. MJF Bryan Danielson, that one I'm very much looking forward to because it's a 60-minute Iron Man match, and I'm really curious to see what that is going to look like with MJF in it. And I have a lot of hopes. I think MJF is going to do phenomenal in this match. I don't think they would have booked this match if they didn't fully believe that MJF and Bryan Danielson could go out there and do a 60-minute Iron Man match. So personally, I'm really looking forward to that one. The 4-way for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, which is going to be the Guns versus the Acclaimed versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. To be completely honest, it's not a match that I'm really excited for. However, I know it's going to be that match on the card that even though I'm not excited for it, I know it's going to be entertaining. And I'm going to be assuming that they're going to put a lot of comedy in this match. So this to me feels like it's going to be a comedy filled match because of all of the people in it. I think this is going to be one that's a little bit of a hot mess, but it's going to turn out good. Am I looking forward to it as of right now? Probably not. John Moxley, Hangman Adam Page in a Texas Death Match. This is one of the matches that I think most people are looking forward to. I'm doing a giveaway right now on my Twitter account for a free to watch the AEW Revolution for free. And so I asked people, what match are you most looking forward to? And pretty much the number one match that I kept seeing on that list is the Texas Death Match. And I know we're going to talk more about this in a hot second, but the promos that we got from John Moxley and Hangman Adam Page were really good today, especially that John Moxley one. I thought they did a really good job of building this feud up. And we've seen them go at it plenty times before, but this time there's a whole new dynamic to it in regards to the Texas Death Match. We know Adam Page and Moxley are both familiar with it, and so I'm very excited for that one. Samoa Joe and Wardlow, I think that one's going to be really good too. Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks, I think it has the potential of being good, and I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out. Jamie Hayter, Saraya, and Ruby Soho, I hope is good because I haven't been too in love with this feud, so I'm hoping that the match turns out good. And then, of course, we have the Elite and the House of Black. I think this match for the AEW World's Trios Championship is going to be really good. Like, this could be one of the top matches of the night. And then we have Christian Cage and Jack Perry. And for me, because I've been so into this feud between these two guys, I'm looking forward to the match. So when I look at this entire card, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches, 5 out of 8 matches that I'm very much looking forward to. So I'm pretty much looking forward to AEW Revolution. So I hope that kind of, but I get why a lot of people might not be entirely too into it. It really just depends on your taste and what you like, right? Thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in the super chat. It's much appreciated. Deontay Swainier, Deontay, nice to see you once again pop up here on the stream. I appreciate it a whole lot. Deontay is always sending in very nice tweets to me. They make my day. Deontay says, the Taylor Swift of Wrestling podcast. It's Denise. Good to see ya. Fun show tonight. Excited for a Revolution. I got paid today and didn't have to hear MJF talk. Hell yeah. I love you, fam. Hey, man. Thank you so much for coming in on your payday. I appreciate it. Deontay, thank you so much for the love and this very generous super chat. And I'm very happy that you enjoyed today's episode of AEW Dynamite. And surprisingly, we didn't get much of MJF talking here today. A couple words, but nothing too much. But I like MJF though on the mic. But I know how some people might, be turned off by that. But we'll see. All right, so let's press on from here and go on from this. And let's see what else we got. So, mentioning that Hangman Page, John Moxley feud that I think is probably one of the things most people are looking forward to. This one here, we had a really great promo from John Moxley. So John Moxley, a lot of people kind of make fun of the fact on social media that like he blinks and that's it. He's already bleeding and he's the blood comes instantly for John Moxley, right? Like he bleeds in every match, and that's something that people have been heavily talking about on social media. However, so they played this video promo that he did that was apparently after last week when he was all bloodied up and you had that image of him on the ramp and he's like all busted open and bloodied. And so this one here I thought was really good because I felt like they really had John Moxley lean into the whole bloody an animal type of deal. So for me, a lot of the verbiage that he used in this promo, I thought was really good because he said something along the lines of, I'm a sick man and I do this because I like this. He says this is not something that you should be proud of. This is not something you should aspire to. I love this shit. And then he goes on to say that he's not the kind of guy you walk on walk within a dark alley. He tried to leave the feud with Hangman alone, but Hangman essentially asked for this. And he says that at the end of the day, he's going to basically, beat him and this and that. Oh, Jesus Christ, guys. Okay. Power is kind of going out. So please bear with me. Hope the power doesn't go out. So anyways, but then he has this really great line that I really enjoyed. He says, Hangman, you are a great wrestler. You are even a great man, but you're not the same animal as me. There's only room for one of these animals in AEW, only room for one animal like me in this ecosystem, and I will die to protect what's mine. This is a promo. This is a line that I found suited Jon Moxley so perfectly because he is that kind of competitor. He is that kind of a fighter. He's that person that, goes out there and bites people, is bleeding constantly, is, doing all sorts of things. And to me, that really does paint him as this like wild man, which we've known now for quite some time. So I thought they did a really good job with this promo at like hyping us up with for the match. The Hangman Adam Page promo, I was polar opposite of Jon Moxley in terms of like the visual. The visual was entirely different. It looked more like a country music video, but he was dead serious, talking about how Mox can't take away his heart and coming out of this match, you either live or you die, and he's not ready to die, and Jon Moxley will never be the same. I don't think that Hangman Page's promo hit as hard as Jon Moxley's did, but I didn't think it was bad or anything like that. I think both of these really, truly added to that Texas death match, so I'm doing good. All right, so afterwards, we end up getting the Elites. They're coming out, and instead, when they're doing their entrance, the music stops, the lights go out. Clearly, they got a power outage. Just kidding. But hey, guys, if my power goes out, let's just all pretend I was attacked by the House of Black. But anyway, so their music hits. They come out there. They're doing their entrance. They're jumped by the House of Black. Fine. This is what they've been doing. They interrupted that match with the Young Bucks and Aussie Open on AEW Rampage. We've been seeing them do this. This has been their way at kind of messing with the Elite heading into their bout at AEW Revolution. No harm, no foul. All right. So next up, we have what I consider the best thing on the show. This is the only thing, if you didn't watch AEW Dynamite, you're like, should I tune in or not? I would tune in specifically to watch this match. Now, before I get into this match, heads up, everyone, I have a brand new interview with Action Andretti that is up right now on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Please, guys, go give that interview some love. I've been having a hard time getting like AEW interviews. And so I'm really trying to like show that, they should keep giving me interviews. So please go to the channel, check out that interview, leave a comment. I'm trying to get as much traction on it as I possibly can, just so that I can keep getting some more interviews and whatnot. So please go over there and give it some love. It would really mean a whole lot to me. And that stuff matters, right? More views, the more opportunities you get. So please go give that interview some love. But anyways, we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and this was Powerhouse Hobbs defeating Eddie Kingston and Ortiz, who we rarely saw. I can't tell you one thing I saw Ortiz do. I'm not even sure he was out there. AR Fox, Sammy Guevara, Action Andretti, Konosuke Takeshita, and Commander. Now, I loved this freaking match, guys. This was a match that got me excited about the prospect, about the future talents that AEW has on board. I mean, AR Fox, I'll start off with AR Fox. AR Fox has literally been coming in here, and he was a guy that, he was paired up with Top Flight, and even though Top Flight has gotten more of that push, every time AR Fox is out there, he makes sure to really utilize every minute that he has out there. That match that he had with Swerve Strickland was one of my favorites. AR Fox is freaking killing it. Sammy Guevara, he is somebody that I know that a lot of people tend to not, favor, but every time he goes out there, he's passionate and he does crazy stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. Action Andretti is a star on the rise right now. Konosuke Takeshita is somebody that I legitimately thought was going to actually win this match. Like, I thought there was a huge possibility he was going to take this one. Then we had Commander, who made his AEW debut today. And to me, Commander was literally the I'm gonna say like star of this match because I thought he had some of the biggest and brightest spots in this matchup that if they're wondering, hey, should he not be all elite, should he be all elite or not, I feel like this match basically said, you know what, he should be. But Powerhouse Hobbs gets the win here, and to me, I thought that Hobbs winning was a great freaking choice because we have been seeing. So he was doing the whole feud with Samoa Joe and Wardlow a while back. He was doing the Book of Hobbs, and we really have seen Powerhouse Hobbs really kind of get into his own. Like we have seen that glow up for Powerhouse Hobbs. Previously, when he was doing Team Taz, he always stood out and he was always somebody that was liked and you saw potential in him. But ever since that pretty much came undone, and from that period to now, we have seen Powerhouse Hobbs like, dude, he is jacked. He looks like a beast, man. He's in beast mode, and I freaking love it. So Hobbs looks like somebody who is a legitimate killer. The look is great. There were so many moments in this. Like there was, so he's from Palo Alto. So in the neighborhood, near San Francisco, whatever. And so he got a great reaction from the crowd because of this. But not only that, they made sure to give him some great shine during this. There was a moment during this match where he was going at it with Konosuke Takeshita, and Takeshita and him were Hobbs got him with like a clothesline, and it was so good actually. And then I think he got him with one more, if I remember correctly. But it was like the two of them were clashing with one another, so it was a very like good moment there. But there was so much that was done in this match. Also, I should add Powerhouse Hobbs winning gets him the TNT title shot next week, either against Samoa Joe or Wardlow, whoever ends up winning from AEW Revolution. But what we got in this match, some of the best moments that I thought that we got here really were, I mentioned the clotheslines from Hobbs to Konosuke, to Takeshita. We had Takeshita had some great moments in here too. Like he even got Hobbs with a German suplex, which I really liked that. I actually think they did a really good job of hyping up a possibility. I want to see Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs like one-on-one, because the little interactions that they had during this was pretty damn good. Action Andretti was out there, doing some dives and stuff. AR Fox did a springboard explosion senton, which was pretty crazy. AR Fox actually had some really sick spots during this too. Commander running the ropes, and literally, I don't even know what he did, but the man flew. He was like Buzz Lightyear, okay? I can't even describe it. That was really great too. Hobbs putting AR Fox into the ladder, that was a pretty brutal spot too. Action Andretti, he did a Falcon Arrow on Sammy Guevara. It was slightly a little bit botched, but it still looked freaking crazy. It looked brutal, actually. At one point, you just see Action Andretti just like hanging there on the ladder. So that was a tough spot, but you know what? It looked sick. Commander doing the shooting star press onto AR Fox, who was on another ladder. That was one of the top moments as well during this match. Then there was a moment where Commander was about to grab the brass ring, but instead Konosuke Takeshita comes up, hits him with a Blue Thunder Bomb, and that was another explosive moment during this. Eventually we get Daniel Garcia, who comes in and essentially kind of goes at it with Action Andretti, because they have beef. They've wrestled before, and then they have the whole beef with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Finally, we see Sammy go to the top of the ladder on the outside, and he ends up hitting a senton onto Action Andretti, who's laying on a ladder. That was freaking sick too. Finally, Konosuke Takeshita looks like he's gonna get the win, and he's on top of the ladder, but then Powerhouse Hobbs comes right in and like just throws his whole body onto the ladder and knocks him down. And eventually we do see Wardlow get that. Powerhouse Hobbs get that win. And afterwards, we see Wardlow and Samoa Joe. They're going at it for like a split second, right? And so like they're arguing, and then the security comes through because they're about to fight each other, but security comes out starts separating them, but Wardlow literally kicks all the security guys' butt. It's like literally cleaning house. And they pan to this really hilarious shot of Powerhouse Hobbs, who is just laying there with the ring. And he's just like, I got time. I don't need to get involved in this. This was great, man. They hyped up, they made Hobbs look good. They hyped up Wardlow, Samoa Joe, and made you excited to see who Powerhouse Hobbs is going to go on to face at next week's Dynamite. So I'm thinking here, I'm a little bit, guys, I don't know, because look, here's the thing. I do want to see Powerhouse Hobbs as TNT champion. If you were to ask me, Denise, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to see Powerhouse Hobbs as champion or Wardlow as champion? Now, as much as I like Wardlow, we've seen it, been there, done that. So part of me wants to see Powerhouse Hobbs become TNT champion. So I'm wondering if that means that I'm kind of leaning along the side of wanting to see Samoa Joe defeat Wardlow at Revolution and then see Powerhouse Hobbs defeat Samoa Joe. Because I'm thinking like, okay, if Wardlow defeats Samoa Joe and then we get Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs, I don't know that they're going to have Wardlow lose the title so fast. So I'm a little bit torn here. I do want to see Powerhouse Hobbs as TNT champion. And I think that the best way would be for him to beat Samoa Joe. But at the same time, I don't want to see Samoa Joe lose to anybody, but that would be a huge victory for Powerhouse Hobbs if he did defeat Samoa Joe. So I don't know, guys. I got to think about this a little bit more. But we got a couple of super chats here. This is from Murad Agami, excuse me. Murad, thank you so much for sending in the super chat. It's much appreciated. Murad says, the pay-per-view is booked to be underwhelming on purpose. It's possible FTR, CM Punk, Jay White, and Mercedes will debut, but put AEW back in the apex where it was. And here's the thing, like, I know that some people are going to see it as being booked, underwhelming. I don't think that was done on purpose by any means. Like, I don't think Tony Khan is out here trying to book an underwhelming show. Like, I don't believe that at all. I don't know if we're going to be getting, surprises or not. When it comes to FTR, Dax Harwood recently, I just did a video on this where he was talking about, a lot of people thought FTR was going to come in today and maybe win the Casino Battle Royale and be added into the four-way, and they were not. Recently, the latest on that is that Dax Harwood, in his podcast, said that he has told AEW that they're ready to come back, and they're ready to come back and finish out their contracts. Their contracts with AEW run out in April, and he is essentially looking to, come back, right, and finish that out. But the last thing that was said on his podcast was that he has not heard back from the company. He has not heard back from AEW, and he believes that they're maybe unhappy with that. So that is what he said on his most recent episode of his FTR I forgot the name of the podcast, but on his recent podcast. So I don't know if anything has happened since then. I don't know if maybe they'll come out at Revolution. I would hope to see them, but I don't know. If we're just basing this off of that podcast comments, it could be nothing. It could be something. Who knows? And then with Jay White, he's somebody that, we've been wondering whether or not he's going to go to AEW. He's going to go to WWE. We don't know. CM Punk, the situation is just so complicated, guys. I just don't know. I really don't know. I feel like at this point, if he were to come back at Revolution, it would be huge. It would be massive, but I just don't know. I can't even give you a guess on that one. Mercedes Moné, she's doing the whole thing with New Japan. So I don't know if she's going to do something additionally with AEW here. So I don't know. But I hope that kind of helped you out just a tad bit, running down some of the options and whatnot. But I don't think the show was booked to be underwhelming on purpose. You don't want to do that. It's not like you get AEW pay-per-views for $9.99. No, you get these for like $50, man. That's a whole $50. If you're going to be charging that much, like, the show's going to have to be good, right? So I don't think that Tony Khan was trying to book this show to be underwhelming. So that's where I'm at on this one. But thank you so much to Murad for sending in your thoughts here in regards to the pay-per-view. I appreciate that, man. All right, we got another one here from Heidi Ho. Heidi Ho, thank you so much. Says, this is my last negative comment. Oh man, we're getting so many negative comments today, guys. Okay. Heidi Ho says, This is my last negative comment. If you can't do the spot without the referees helping, just don't do the spot. They were helping set up ladders and holding them ruined it for me, says Heidi Ho. Look, I didn't notice that as much as probably some other people did, as probably as Heidi Ho did. I was really interested in this match and I had a really good time watching it. It was legitimately my favorite thing on the show, hands down. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in your last negative comment. I appreciate it. Hey, man, if you guys want to send whatever you can send in, whatever your thoughts are on the programming, man. This is a democracy. This you can say what you want. I mean, as long as it's not hateful, think what you think about it. It's entertainment. It's subjective entertainment. You're allowed to dislike things, believe it or not. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in this super chat. All right, we got another one here from Justin Martin. Thank you so much to Justin, who says, it's about Hobbs. It's about time Hobbs got a big breakthrough moment. That dude is a superstar in the making. What an insane ladder match. Completely agree, man. Those freaking clotheslines that he was hitting were just so strong, so powerful. It kind of like rocked the house for sure. I thought he had a great showing here tonight. He looks good. I can see him like this is only the start for Hobbs, man. This is only the start. Thank you so much to Justin Martin for sending in this super chat. And all right, let's go ahead and press on here and let's move on. So let's see. After this, we got Chris Jericho defeating Peter Avalon. Now, I know a lot of people were, not too excited about seeing this as a matchup for AEW Dynamite. However, I want to say that, Peter Avalon, I've done several interviews with him now, and he is legitimately a nice guy. And so I was very happy for him to get this opportunity because he's been with AEW since the start, since the beginning. And he's pretty much been, he's pretty much been on like AEW Dark, and even then when he gets on AEW Dark. So I think for him to at least have this opportunity to be on Dynamite was nice to see. I didn't think this was painful by any means necessary. This was fine. It got the job done, and I was happy for him to get the spot on Dynamite because again, he's been a guy that's been, part of the AEW roster for a very, very long time. But anyway, so this match, Peter comes in and red hot, and he's like chopping Jericho, and they have a nice little back and forth, nothing too bad. But Jericho hits the code breaker, gets his win. This was a quick victory for Jericho. Again, not bad. Afterwards, he starts hitting Peter Avalon with his bat. Ricky Starks comes out, but then the Jericho Appreciation Society beats him down. So again, nothing harmful on the show for that. Anyways, yeah, this is from Benny Halma, who says, I'm just happy to see pretty Peter Avalon gets to be on TV. Exactly. So I feel the same way about that. You let the guy have a moment, let the guy have a moment, guys. All right. So next up we got Christian Cage and Renee Paquette. So Renee Paquette is interviewing Christian Cage in the ring, and this was great, man. Oh, I love Christian Cage and I love Jungle Boy. I've been obsessed with the storyline for quite some time now. Before I break it down, we do got a generous super chat here from Sheldon Jackson. Thank you so much to Sheldon for sending this in. Sheldon says, I'm just curious to know when the All Atlantic title will be defended on pay-per-view. They crowned the first champion at Forbidden Door defense at All Out pre-show. At least Pac defended it outside of AEW. OC hasn't. So, look, truthfully, I was expecting a lot more when it came to the AEW All Atlantic Championship. And for me, so far, it's just been a title. It's just been there. I haven't been too in love with a lot of what they've been doing with the AEW All Atlantic Championship. Personally, I really loved it when Pac was champion, and I liked the matches that Pac was having more than the ones with Orange Cassidy, unfortunately. And I know that's probably a hot take and unpopular opinion, but I did want to see Pac. I wanted to see what Orange Cassidy was going to do with the championship. And I think there's been a handful of matches that I've enjoyed, but I did enjoy that brief, very brief run with Pac when he had it. I think I just want to see Orange Cassidy in there with competitors that I know can have just bigger, better matches. You know, we're just talking about here about this match with Big Bill. Like I just mentioned, I wasn't crazy about that match. The crowd loved it, but personally, and I know that I'm in the minority there, but I just didn't think it was like a banger or anything like that. And so for me, it's just not the kind of match that I'm necessarily drawn to. I do think that I just want to see bigger opponents. This sounds wrong because I was going to say bigger opponents, but who's bigger than Big Bill in size? But you guys know what I mean. Like, just, I want to see matches that I think could really, really steal the show because Orange Cassidy is capable of that, as we've seen numerous times before. So for me, I just kind of want to see different opponents for Orange Cassidy just to kind of make the AEW All-Atlantic Championship just feel a little bit more stronger, a little bit more meaningful. So I don't know if that's a hot take. Hot tamale here on the show. Let me know. Let's see what you guys think. But thank you so much to Sheldon Jackson for also sending in this generous super chat. Alrighty, so Bobby C says banger drink. Hey man, I'm gonna be part of the banger bros here. Oh, that's right. They're not calling them the banger bros anymore. All right, I'll be the banger chica here. All right, moving on. So Christian Cage, Renee Paquette. They're out there. Christian is being booed, and he's like, "It's okay. I feel the same way. I don't want to be here in San Francisco. I'll see you guys again in 10 years, right?" So, he's talking about how Jungle Boy Jack Perry says he's going to win gold in 2023, but he's like, not over my dead body. In fact, I'm going to be the one to win singles gold in 2023. And then I loved this part. I love this part so much. And I'm so glad they went this direction because this is exactly what it should be. Christian Cage and Jungle Boy have had this long-term storytelling, long-term story that's been going on. And it has gotten very ugly and very personal. The man stole his best friend. The man betrayed him after he had his trust. The man talk shit on his dead father, talk shit to his mother, I think even his sister at one point, if I remember correctly. It got really ugly, very personal, okay? So we need this to not just be a match. This needs to be a fight. And that is exactly what Christian Cage proposed to Jungle Boy Jack Perry when he said, this is going to be a fight, no rules, this is a fight. I'm so glad that Christian Cage brought that up and that he mentioned that because to me, it just makes a lot more sense. This storyline, they need to like get right into it, man. They need to like go full throttle when they have this match at AEW Revolution. So on top of that, we had another brutal line from Christian Cage. He tells Jungle Boy Jack Perry, at the end of the day, the reality is you're just your father's son. Just like your father, you're a no-talent hack that should be thankful you've got Hollywood good looks to get through life because this business is not for you, kid. You don't have the guts. Good stuff there from Christian Cage. But then we got one of my favorite things that Jungle Boy Jack Perry has done character-wise. This was good stuff. Whoever came up with the concept of this video, kudos to them because I loved the bloody concept. So we mentioned that Christian Cage, what has he been doing a lot of? He's been mentioning Jungle Boy's late father. Okay, this has been established. Why not do something like this where Jungle Boy Jack Perry is out there digging a grave and he's standing in it. And then afterwards, he's like flashing back all of these memories, all of everything that's been happening with the feud, with the storyline and everything that has happened. And we're seeing like a montage of everything. And then there's a clip of Jungle Boy literally looking down and it's all dark and scary. And he just lets out one single tear, one very strong single tear. He's like Johnny Depp in Crybaby. And he afterwards, it is revealed that that grave that he was, building or whatever. Do you build a grave? No, dig. There you go. The grave that he was digging. It's revealed that it is for Christian Cage. And you see the tombstone in it. And I liked this again because of all of the awful things Christian Cage said about his dad. Why wouldn't he want to dig a hole for Christian Cage? The other thing is, last week we saw that he wasn't willing to slam that chair on the head of Christian Cage. We saw that Jungle Boy hesitated. We saw that he didn't necessarily at that moment have the guts to actually do it. However, with this video, he's showing he's willing to do what it takes to end Christian Cage once and for all, bury him, done with it. So I really liked what this whole video did for the story, and I cannot wait to see Jungle Boy standing above Christian Cage at AEW Revolution. I think it's going to be a good time, man. It's going to be a good time. This is from Steven, who says that he liked the line where Christian Cage said, "Unlike you who treat this business like a video game, I treat it like an ATM machine." That line, I also really liked that line too. That was good as well. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Overall, good stuff. Really quickly, after this, we ended up getting Hook defeating Matt Hardy. I wasn't really interested in this, guys. I'm sorry. This one was, I was kind of like, not even really caring about this at all. This is really not for me. But Hook defeats Matt Hardy, and basically because he defeated Matt Hardy, he's going to get a match against Stokely Hathaway in a no DQ match with the firm essentially banned from ringside. This was a fast match. I wasn't really too into it. Let's move on. After this, we ended up getting our women's match here. And this one for me, okay, so this was Toni Storm and Riho. Sorry, guys. Forgot to actually write down the match on my notes. Like, I wrote down what happened in the match, but I didn't put anything else. All right, so Toni Storm and Riho here. This one here, look, I think Riho is a great competitor. Toni Storm's a great competitor. And I kind of feel like this match was a little bit, a lot of what they could do in the ring, I thought was stunted by the fact that you had to do everything that you did with Saraya and with Jamie and Britt and all of this, right? I kind of wish that we would have just seen this be like its standalone thing. And I get it because Saraya's out there and, you know, she's getting involved in the match. She's out there on Toni Storm's side, but she gets involved in this match. And so then you see Jamie and Britt come down. But I feel like we only got just a tad bit of what we could actually get here between Riho and Toni. There were only a couple of moments that I felt were noteworthy, like Riho going out there and doing that really nice crossbody onto Toni Storm. That was great. Afterwards, she ends up getting her with the Northern Lights suplex to Toni Storm. That was nice too. Toni eventually gets her with the hip attack. And after the hip attack, she goes for the pin and ends up being a near fall. I was a little bit surprised by that. I thought she was going to end the match there and have Toni Storm win. Afterwards, we end up seeing Riho get the roll up on Toni Storm. It wasn't clean. It wasn't like technically perfect, but she got the win. I was surprised to see Riho get the win over Toni Storm, to be honest. But this was like, okay. I do think it could have been a little bit stronger, a little bit better. I do think that a lot of it, having all the involvement with Saraya and everybody else kind of did take away a little bit from the match. But afterwards, the post-match angle, I did enjoy because we see Britt and Jamie, they're already out there. So they go after Saraya and Toni respectfully. And you have Saraya and Jamie Hayter, like literally just like throwing shots at each other inside the ring. And finally, you get Ruby Soho. She runs out there and she slaps Saraya. And everybody's been wondering, oh, is Ruby Soho going to make a decision? When's she going to make a decision? And instead, she slaps Saraya and Jamie Hayter. So I was glad that she did that because, again, I'm like, you either make a decision or you just say, I don't care about either of you. And this one, at least she finally said, like, I don't care about any one of you guys. And that's it. She's beefing with both of them. I think that's the best way to go about it, considering that it's a triple threat match. So it makes perfect sense for Ruby not to be aligned on any side here. All women brawl at the end of this. So personally, like for me, I haven't been too into this feud. I know that I haven't been too into the whole storyline. I do want to see this match, though. I am looking forward to it. But I would have liked for the match just to be Jamie Hayter versus Saraya. To me, that feels like that would have been something that I would have been a little bit more interested in. I kind of feel like Ruby Soho, it didn't necessarily need to be added into the storyline itself. Like the storyline, yeah, right. Like she's part of it. Was she gonna which side she was gonna pick? But I didn't necessarily think she needed to be in the actual matchup. I'm thinking they're doing it just because of Saraya. She may still have some limitations. We don't know. But this, I do think to me, it would have felt like a bigger deal if it was just Jamie Hayter versus Saraya, because the beef has really been mainly between them two. So that's kind of where I'm at on this one here. But let's go ahead and press on from here. Let's get into the Casino Tag Team Royale. So battle royale. So for me, look, this is usually, and I've said this before, I'm not really big on like battle royals or anything like that. Usually I'm the one that I'm like just watching and then I'm just waiting for the final few men. I unfortunately was not interested in the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale. I kind of felt a little bit just like, I just wasn't interested in it. I think I already kind of knew that none of the teams that I wanted to actually win were going to win. And the second that they announced that Orange Cassidy and Danhausen were going to be put in this match instead, I felt like it was a dead giveaway that they were going to be winning this match. So for me, it was like, okay, well, when are Orange Cassidy and Danhausen going to get the win? And they did. Danhausen ends up eliminating the Butcher and the Blade. So for this here, afterwards, we see the Guns come out. We see Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal come out, and then the Acclaim comes out. They all brawl it out here. Like I said earlier, this is one match that I'm not too interested in, but I do think it's going to be like the comedy match that we see. So we'll see. It'll be fine. All right. Afterwards, our last and final thing that we have to talk about for this show, it is everything that occurred between MJF and Bryan Danielson. And let me tell you, I was a fan of what they did here. However, before I get into that, just a heads up, everybody, I am going to be at AEW Revolution this weekend in San Francisco. I'm going to be getting footage. I'm going to be getting, whatever it is from the press scrums and whatnot, live tweeting what's going on and everything like that. So if you haven't already, head on over to youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Make sure to subscribe. I always put the press scrum footage up there. I clip out the best stuff in case you don't want to watch the entire thing, because I recognize some people want to watch some portions and some people just want to watch what's newsy, what's important to them. So I do make sure to separate all of that. So please make sure to head on over there and keep an eye out for my AEW Revolution content. And as I mentioned earlier, I do have an interview with Action Andretti up on the channel as well. Check that one out, guys. He talks about how he got started in pro wrestling. He talks about his challenges, his journey to AEW, how he got to AEW, and defeating Chris Jericho, what that moment was like, what feedback he got from people, and what everything has been like, the experience. And he also plays my 10-question lightning round game, and I find out some very interesting things about Action Andretti that I had no idea about. So he is somebody that is going to be a top star someday in AEW, in pro wrestling. So get to know him now. Check out that interview. But now let's get into MJF, Bryan Danielson. Dude, I liked this top to bottom, man. This was all good stuff. So they kicked us off with a video package. And in this video package, we ended up seeing like all of these different personalities, and you see Excalibur, Taz, Renee. They're all out there basically talking about the competitors. They're talking about Bryan Danielson, they're talking about MJF, and they're talking about, what they're expecting, what they think is going to happen. They're pretty much telling us the story, telling us what's been going on between these two, while they're also showing like flashbacks and whatnot. They're showing Bryan Danielson, doing his training, and you have MJF who's like in the gym doing like the stuff in the gym. And then you have Bryan Danielson who's out in like out in the earth, out in the nature, doing his bit. So to me, it gave me such Rocky 4 vibes. Now, I don't know how many of you guys here are Rocky fans. My favorite Rocky movie is Rocky 4. And when Rocky's out there training in the freezing cold and this and that, and then you have his competitor who is in the gym doing like beast mode. It reminded me of that. So I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know if that was the inspiration, but it did remind me of Rocky 4 a whole lot. So this was really good. But then afterwards, in the actual ring, we have Bryan Danielson, who's out there being interviewed by Renee Paquette, and he's talking about how he was forced to be retired from wrestling about 7 years ago, but that he came back in 2. And he's talking about why MJF hates him. And he's talking about how MJF has done absolutely nothing to get the same things that Bryan Danielson has. MJF comes out, interrupts him, but he doesn't get a really much of a word in because Bryan Danielson shuts that down. And he's like, no. He goes in there and he's telling him how he hasn't fought for anything. He hasn't earned what he has. And the reasons he doesn't have these things is because he hasn't fought for them. And then he has some really great stuff in here. And he has some really great lines. One of which he says, and if there's one thing you deserve, because keep in mind, he says he doesn't deserve anything. And then he says, if there's one thing you deserve, it's your fiance leaving you. Pitting shoulders to mats and banging rats. Is that what you do, Max? That doesn't seem like somebody I'd want my daughter to marry. So we found out last week that, MJF mentioned in his promo last week that his fiance left him, that, he wanted to marry her and have kids with her and this and that she left him. It was later reported by Sean, or he put out a tweet saying that this is indeed true. MJF's fiance and him did indeed separate. So you're like, oh man, right? So then you get this line here, and it was like a super low blow, but it was a really good line too. It was very savage on the end of Bryan Danielson. I actually really loved this line, especially when he said pinning shoulders to mats and banging rats. I was like, oh boy. Afterwards, he then goes on to say that, he's fought depression, he's fought poverty, he's fought the authority, and he then says, before I came here, I had a job that would have paid me for the rest of my life, but I left and came to AEW because I wanted to fight. So, kind of alluding a little bit to his time in WWE, mentioning the authority, mentioning, a job that would have paid him for life, and just basically showing that he is a fighter and MJF is not. So this to me was great stuff, man. I thought this was the best promo that Bryan Danielson has done during this feud with MJF, because for the most part, it's been MJF. Like, he's been great all the time on the mic. That's not breaking news by any means, but Bryan Danielson, this was the first one that I legitimately felt really left me thinking, oh shit, like this is good, right? I thought some of the other stuff, because they had a back and forth a couple weeks ago that I didn't think was too great. But this one to me was definitely better. It was short, it was brief, and he had some good liners in there. I don't know what to expect from Bryan Danielson MJF, guys. I don't know if MJF's going to defeat Bryan. I don't know if Bryan's going to become new AEW World Champion. I'm still thinking about what direction I'm expecting this storyline to go into, because I can't imagine either one losing. Like, MJF just became AEW World Champion the last pay-per-view. And so I'm like, damn, I can't see MJF losing the championship. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't see Bryan Danielson losing in this type of match. Like, this would be huge for MJF to get the win. And if he were to get the win clean, keep in mind that Bryan Danielson did say he hasn't fought for anything, he hasn't earned anything, but that's not what MJF does. So I could only imagine MJF getting the win in this match by doing something dirty, by taking a cheap shot, by whatever the situation is going to be. I just can't. Oh man, like I can't see him cleanly finishing off Bryan Danielson, and so I don't know which direction they're going to go in for this one. I'm going to be surprised either way with what they do here. So guys, that was AEW Dynamite. That was the show. Man, oof, good stuff, guys. Let me know how you guys felt about this show. Keep the comments going. Send them in. looking forward to it. See what you guys say. I will be here. I will be here on Friday to talk about SmackDown and Rampage. I'm not leaving to San Francisco until Saturday, so I will be here to talk about SmackDown and Rampage on Friday. So make sure you guys come through for that. And if not, I will see you guys next week. Do not forget to head on over to youtube.com/Denise Salcedo to check out all of that AEW Revolution content. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching Speak Now Pro Wrestling, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.